I should make you stand in a puddle. That would just...
No, I'm not going to
no,
do that for you.
This would be fine. Now, we're winding down on Sunday. You have had, like, rain up the wazoo. No one predicted that. We talked off camera on Friday about the traffic problem, and Saturday there was no traffic problem.
Right. I credit that to, we talked to our county and city partners here about it. They came out that day, they walked around with me, and then one of the things that we told them was the traffic, and they were well aware of it. And so the sheriff and Xenia police, they all went after it, and I think that problem's fixed, because the next day it was excellent. And I know you can say, well, there wasn't as much maybe business traffic, but everybody breezed in, and we fixed some holes that we had in that traffic pattern. So very glad to have that done.
You had to close the parking lot today, just too muddy. Again, way more rain than anyone had predicted.
Yeah, it was pretty much of a monsoon.
Yeah.
And
so you're hoping that the drainage and all that would handle what rain you got.
Well, it was beyond what, I mean, we have lessons learned. I think that what would happen next year would be better. Maybe we're going to look at better ingress and egress, especially in the flea market and in the parking areas. And but by and large, I mean, that can be fixed. And we've had...
This was a stress test in those areas.
Oh, yeah, a stress test all the way around.
Yeah.
I'm so glad so many people came. We've had a lot of great comments and great suggestions, and nobody... Look, I have no black eyes, and so
I didn't want to focus on the negative, but a few things stand out. Do you have a clue how attendance went yet?
I'm not going to say, but it's the biggest I've ever seen at any ham convention I think I've ever been to. I mean, it was absolutely wall to wall from one end to another. Every building, clear out in the flea markets, but it was still spaced nice. I'll tell you another good thing that I heard a lot about was the food. I mean, the food. Vendors did well, but we had much more of like Greene County food. A lot of it was actually grown in Greene County, and a lot handmade. And I'm so glad that we've upgraded that considerably from, processed foods and things.
Yeah, were they those folks that came from the non-ham community? Were they happy?
Oh yeah, they were. Most of the community people were pretty thrilled, except for the ones that had to sit in the traffic and go, "Oh my gosh, I just want to get to work." But you know what? They knew what was going on, and they supported it, and they know it's a boon for our community. And we had made significant improvements in the internet for our vendors in there, and I thought that if anybody that was there noticed the nice wide aisles that were in there, and we've already got commitments for better airflow next year, and we certainly like to get the new building. We're talking to the county commissioners to maybe come up with the funds to purchase a new building, and it'll mean some of it a commitment for us, but we're committed right now.
Do you think that would eliminate the need for tents? Would it be big enough?
We had a huge demand this year. If we could have got more tents, we would have gotten them, because we had turned people away. So many people, so many vendors wanted to come in.
The two big tents the traffic was good, and water didn't seem to be a big problem. The two little tents, and that's back where we were, traffic was noticeably light, and
really,
and the rainstorms were a bigger problem for us because we got wet.
Well, I'm sorry about that. That's one of those learning experiences for us. They gave us guarantees about those tents not leaking, and we scoured the United States to find big tents and to get those up. And these smaller tents, and the additions were made as we just had such a demand for more people want to be there. So, Gary, I'm sorry that had to happen. You got a little bit wet, but all in all, I think you've kept a pretty good
I consider
spirit.
it all a learning experience, and just I'm sure you guys are going to be working all year long to solve what problems you've had.
We're already working. Right now, we're already. I mean, this one, as it goes, we're looking at all the opportunities that we have. But for example, I heard from somebody said, "Hey, put section numbers out in the parking lot so I know where I'm at." The buses, it's too bad people didn't take the opportunity to really understand more about the off-site parking, because these bus drivers, they live here and they know every back road around to pass all that traffic. So, and the comments I heard, that was a pretty neat way to come in. But now I think we got the traffic flow situation a lot better. learning experience. We appreciate everybody coming. You know, we started this last August, and I know that you and I have talked, and we certainly appreciate everybody's support. And I will tell you, I'm kind of opening myself up for this, but I am good on QRZ, and so it's okay to
Here comes the email.
Send me the email. Yeah. Right, that's what I mean. Send me an email, and you know, I know you can complain or whatever, and that's all good. But we're all partners in this. We're all amateur radio operators trying to be partners and important pillars, because you know what our organization tries to do is to give back to other organizations. So
many years ago, Riley Hollingsworth in a talk said that the Dayton Hamvention was just a force for good in ham radio, and I agree. We want success here.
We do too.
Yep.
You know, when I read things, Gary, in some of the internet things about people that run this are nitwits, I'm the only nitwit. I mean, we have some very smart people working here, and they're working their heart out. They've got families that they're working with, you know, at their house, and they're taking care of their property. They're working other jobs, then they're doing this, no pay. It's because of the love of amateur radio and what we do.
Yeah, huge number of volunteers.
Huge. Oh, around 650 volunteers.
Gordon West made one suggestion, and I don't know how feasible it is, but I'll bounce it off you. And he said the forum buildings are the best buildings here, air conditioned. You know, everything is controlled about them. And he was thinking the forums themselves, well, they're important. They may not be the most important thing that goes on. Would it be reasonable to put vendors in there and put the forums in a somewhat less accommodating, compromised, you know, tents or whatever?
Now, that's not a bad idea, but however, what I'm looking for is for everybody to be comfortable. I think that, you know, I know he gave a great forum. I was in his forum yesterday, loved it. But when people are in those forums, I want everybody to be generally comfortable everywhere. So that's the goal for us.
Yeah.
And
it would make a premium, really premium vendor space.
They would.
So and maybe charge more for it because it is.
You know, we're not into gouging people. Actually, you know, our ticket prices, we try to keep them down. I mean, for a major 3-day event. But at the same time, you know, there was no bus anybody had to pay for. Believe me, we can make this better next year. There's so much to throw together, and a lot of things didn't come together until, you know, in the last month or so.
I'm just amazed to move this, and all I see it is from a guy who comes by once a year and walks around and maybe sits in a booth or something. To be involved in it all year long, I can't imagine. And I've been involved in small ham fests. They were a tremendous amount of work for a ham fest that gets 2,000 or 3,000 people. To put this together and then move it to a whole new place, I can't imagine. So
we have very talented people, and you know, it's like we talk about to each other. You know, we take a slamming and we keep on hamming, because you know, some people in the community want to find everything wrong, but then there's other people in the community that amateur radio community that trying hard to support us, and I've had people tell us thank you. Pretty good shot out of the chute. For the
very
first
good.
year.
Yeah.
So it will get better.